Why do male dancers wear dance belt? What is the purpose of a dance belt? Is it the same as a martial art cup? How do I choose one? How do you know if it's too small or, like if it's you? What are the different models? Are there different brands? How do I choose the one that is more comfortable for me? How do I know? What color should I use? Like, what's the difference between a thin waist, a thick waist? Like, how do I choose which one is good for me? I mean, like, not for me, but those are questions that I get from a lot of male dancers, and I have no idea how to reply. So can you help?
I can most certainly help, and if you want a dance belt, Odine, we can sort one out for you.
So you're also a provider?
I'll send one in the post.
Okay. So listen, I looked at all the questions I was receiving, and there's kind of like 3 sections. The buying process, how to select the right belt for me. Second, issues that can happen, and like, let's be prepared. And the third one is care and handling.
So, let's go through them.
Let's dive in. So first part, the buying and the selection process. First question, I guess, for the younger ones, for the parents and people who just don't know about it, what's the purpose of a dance belt? Why do I need one? And is that mandatory or is that recommended? Like, what's the deal? What's the deal with the dance belt?
So, I'm going to start with it being mandatory or preference. If you're in classical ballet and, if you're wearing tight or more tight-fitting clothing, you most likely should be wearing one. Also, with how classical ballet is, it just helps keep certain body parts in a nice, comfortable, out-the-way placement.
What happens if you don't wear one in classical ballet?
You'll be living nutcracker in real life.
So it hurts, right?
It can hurt very badly. When your clothes into fifth, it's not nice. But those who train in more like contemporary, most of them tend to choose it as a preference, which is totally fine. And also you have baggier clothing, so you don't see certain body parts.
Okay. So it's also an aesthetic reason. It's not just because otherwise it hurts.
Yeah.
Kind of like a bra for women. It's not mandatory, but depending on the person, you probably will wear one.
Yeah, and for certain women who run, if they want support while running, they would wear a sports bra. It just helps keep things in place.
In place and nice together, and then it doesn't hurt because it's not moving all the time.
Yeah.
So you guys are not that different from us.
No, it just depends where the clothes are.
So that's the purpose of it, is to keep everything together, so make sure you're not hurting yourself when you're jumping around, when you're closing in fifth, and to avoid everything moving around and,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So recommended to highly mandatory.
Very much so. Personally, for me, I can't do any type of physical activity. So not just doing ballet, even for me, dancing contemporary, jazz, going to the gym, I prefer wearing a dance belt. It just, you know where everything is. There's no nasty injuries. There's no unexpected pain. It just keeps everything in a nice position.
Okay. At what age or development should I start using one? A dance belt.
I don't think there's a certain age you should start wearing one. But if you're taking your training more seriously, you should be wearing one in that sense. As I said, if you're wearing classical ballet tights or tight-fitting clothing, you should be wearing one. So whatever age you are wearing tights, you should probably wear a dance belt.
Okay, got it. I know you guys don't really like when there's no like clear-cut answer, but that's how life is. Sometimes there is no clear-cut answer. Oh, I love this question. You kind of talked about it. already. Can I replace a dance belt with the kind of protective equipment they use for martial arts? You know, the hard shell.
Ooh, you could, but it's not the same.
Have you tried?
I have had to do it once in the past.
Don't share the story yet. Yeah.
No. Just want to talk about the difference between what you would use in martial arts compared to a dance belt. So in martial arts, they're normally referred to as a cup or a jock. Sometimes you can call a dance belt a jockstrap as well. But essentially you have like a plastic covering. So that's to protect you from being kicked, you know, from other people, you know, martial arts. What?
Yeah, but if you're like if you're doing pas de deux and the girl spins around and she hurts you with your knee, you know, you can think.
That's why I said you could use it. But then also, it is a plastic cup, quite stuck. In comparison to a dance belt, it has padding. It's more comfortable to wear long term as well. If you're going through a full performance, you know, if you've got plastic digging into your groin, that's going to get very uncomfortable. You know, for some people who wear bras with a wire underneath it, they say how it digs in and it starts cutting. So there is a lot of comfort that comes wearing a dance belt in comparison to a martial arts jockstrap with a plastic cup.
Okay. So not recommended to use martial arts cup. Not comfortable enough. You don't want to do that. Now, let's get into the buying process. Where can I buy it?
Quite easily. Most of the major dance brands will have their own range of dance belts. And then most local shops, you know, your local dance shop, wherever you buy your dance things from, would most likely stock dance belts as part of their male range. So they're quite easily accessible.
So now that I know where to go, are there any brand? Is there like just one brand? Are there many brands? And are there different models or different cuts? Or is it just like a dance belt, there's just one?
Oh no, a bit like a point shoe. You have many different versions. Each brand will have their own cut, their own style, and you as a person have to find what's more comfortable or more suited for you. Although I don't recommend wearing a point shoe as a dance belt.
Yeah, different purpose. So if I understand you right, there are different brands, so you can go out there and find what works for you, and there are different models. Can we get into the different models? What are the different cuts and the different model are there, so that we know what to ask and how to choose?
So, some of the more clear differences is the waistband.
Yeah, so I was looking at like there's thick band and thin band. What's the difference?
So this is more of a medium to thin band. This one, it's quite thick. So let's put them next to each other. You can see it's almost
big
double the
difference,
size. Yeah. And then you have some brands that can go even thinner and some either thicker with the waistband. But then other differences come into the front. See how this is just like the elastic going into the padding area? You know, it's quite waistband padded in comparison to this one where you've got a few different cuts.
It's kind of like seamless transition into it, yeah.
Yeah, and that all depends on like, again, personal preference, but what feels different is where the pressure or where that support is.
Okay.
And again, you know, this is very personal to each person. What you may find comfortable, I might think is not nice at all and doesn't feel right. So it is a bit of trial and error to find what style and cut works for you. And sometimes you don't have a choice. So certain costume, you may need to have a thinner waistband. You know, depending where the costume comes up, if you're topless and it's quite low-waisted, but then if it's high-waisted tights, you may have a thicker one, so you don't get like a weird visible panty line, I believe it's called, like cutting into your tights. Yeah. So sometimes you just have to smile and go, okay, due to costume. But for your daily, you know, your normal classes, you can wear what you feel most comfortable with.
So the only reason you choose a different waist thickness is, first of all, your personal preference, and second, what you're wearing on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fine. So if I really like it when it's like a thin waistband, but my costume requires that I wear a thick one, I just swallow my pride and go for it, right?
Yeah. Or you can talk to the costume department and see if you can get away with it.
Oh yeah, there is always that possibility that maybe the costume can be altered. It's true, we don't always think about that.
Yeah. So you can always ask costume department or, you know, whoever is sorting out costume, and just ask very nicely if something can be done. Because at the end of the day, you know, on stage, if you're uncomfortable, you're gonna see that on stage. Mm-hmm. So obviously the artistic staff are always there to make sure the performance is going great. But in your daily class, wear what you feel most comfortable in. What you feel good in will help you then progress and develop as a dancer. Because if you don't feel good, how do you improve?
That's so true. Yeah. So I have one more question on how to choose what is more comfortable for you. Like, are there any tips that you have to share on like how to choose the one that's comfortable? Because I know, for example, with demi-point shoes, sometimes we love them at the shop, and then you go to a class, and then after 15 minutes, you already know they're wrong and you've wasted your money. Point shoes is a bit the same, so you get to learn the tips and the tricks on what you need to check for when you try it. Are there any such tips for dance belts?
3 things I would keep in mind. First one is, how do you wear your jeans? Might sound weird, but if you like, you know, if you like having your jeans quite high up, you would most likely like a thicker waistband. If you like your jeans quite low, or you're not really that fussed, then you know the waistband isn't the important one. The second one to make sure you check out for is how the back of the jockstrap feels, as that goes back to different cuts and different styles as well. As guys don't really wear thongs, you've got some with a back that are a bit thicker, and then you've got others where the back is slightly thinner, if you can see that. That's another difference. Some people
are completely covered.
Yep. And some will cover your complete backside, and they fit more like normal, what's the underwear?
Regular underwear.
Briefs underwear. Yeah, so they're different cuts. Third one is the width of the triangle. So as you can see with this one, it's quite a big triangle. Mm-hmm. Some can be a bit smaller, some a bit thinner. Unfortunately, there's not really a tip to know what feels better for you. That's a trial and error situation. You know, everybody is different, your body shape is different. There's not really a recommendation to help that out other than just trying things and seeing what does and what does not work for you.
You're not really helping, you know.
No, but do you have any tips for someone selecting the perfect point shoe? You know, if they've got a tapered foot or flat foot?
Yeah, depending on the shape of the foot, you have to try them in a plie, you have to try them when you're on point, you have to try also how you do a full pointe. So yeah, there are some tips.
But you've got to try them all out. It's not you can go, that shoe is perfect for you.
No,
you go, this
you do
could
have
work.
to try them out, but you can direct people to look at specific things depending on how to check them. But again, as I said, at the end of the day, you check all those things and then you go to class and you hate your point shoes that seemed perfect in the shop. So, I'm just messing up with you.
Maybe it's because you're not trying that point shoe as a dance belt.
No, but I'm just messing up with you. You are helpful. I mean, at least people know what to look for and what would make a difference. So they know that if they don't really like this one, they can go and ask for a different style and see if it works better. Now, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the selection of the right one. I found something that seemed okay and it suits me, but I feel it's a bit small. So are they different size?
Yeah.
And how do I know if it's too small or not? Like, is there a feeling that it's different when it's too small? Or if it's too big?
Most brands will go through small, medium, large, extra small. And this actually reflects on your waist size. So the same as like how you would buy jeans. Normally that would be like a 24, 28, 30, 32, rather than small, medium, large. But that's what their size guide is reflecting, is your waist size. Each brand will be slightly different, but on average, a medium is normally between a 30 and a 34 inch waist. So the biggest giveaway, if it's too small, is that on your waist, it's really, really tight. And if it's really, really big, like your jeans, it won't stay up. Which is no good. You want them to stay up. Another indicator, if it's too small, you'll get a lot of irritation around your groin. And then also up your bum crack. There'll be a lot of friction, and it will feel like kind of like carpet burn.
So that's an indicator that it's too small, not that it's too large and then it's
too small. Too small.
Okay.
Because all that fabric is causing a lot of friction.
Okay.
Which is very uncomfortable to being painful.
Definitely. So go for a bigger size for that one.
Yeah. So if you feel anything like chafing on your jeans, if you feel anything like that, go for a size up. That's a good indicator it's too small. And if it doesn't stay up and on your waist, it's too big. Another one to know if it's too big. You don't feel supported.
So you feel all loose.
Yeah, so even if it stays on your waist, but certain body parts don't feel supported and they can stay in place, or that could even be the wrong model, the wrong cut, the wrong style. That could also be an indicator of that. Okay,
now the question every man has in mind. Okay, you've talked about sizes in terms of like body size. But what about my manhood? Are they different sizes? Because you can be small and large. And you can be large and small.
For your manhood, that would be more reflective on the cut and the style. As I said, some triangles are made a bit smaller, some are made a bit bigger. So that's very much on the cut and style. If you think you need a bigger triangle, then you will know if you need a bigger triangle. And if you need a smaller one, you know if you need a smaller one.
So it's not like us where we have like a back size and a cup size. You guys are not that evolved. You've not reached that level yet. So there is like a business potential right there.
Possible, but I think it might be a bit awkward to go in like, I need an extra large triangle, please. And then the staff look at you, give you one, and then you come out and go, can I have a small triangle, please?
Okay,
I think
it's the same as
I think
us.
some.
I mean, like,
I think.
Come on, like if a woman comes in and she's literally flat and she's like, I want a double D. It's just her problem. But I'm really trying to think in terms of like being comfortable. Is that something that is missing or not? I guess is just my question.
In some ways, I do think it is missing.
How do you put it on? Is there like a front and a back? I think this one is a silly question. Is there an in and an out? Is there an inside out? Like is anyone confused?
Oh, I do need to go back to a front and back. For this lovely style, I think it's quite clear what the back should be.
I think it's all right. Yeah.
For the dance belts that are styled like briefs, they would still have this padding, and that would be the front. I think that should still be relatively clear, but I don't wear them, so I'm not 100% sure. But I'm pretty sure they would still have padding because that's part of the support. And if you don't feel like you got support, try it the other way round.
So if you're not sure where the front and the back is, just try the other way around is your advice.
Yeah. For inside and outside,
Padding.
this one's the most clearest. You can see where the padding is more softer material. For the colouring, very big different in colour. So that helps out with inside and out. For nude, for the nude colours or the more, the skin tone colours, some brands don't have it so clear, inside or out. The big difference is the label.
You'd never cut the label. I cut the label.
Some people cut it, some people don't because it also has washing instructions.
Oh, we'll get to the washing instructions after.
Yeah. But then the other big difference, if you can see, is the seaming. So, it's very different. And that is also part comfort as well. And then also how it looks through tights. Some you may wear inside out. You may not notice it. But then you're going to get weird bumps and lumps where things have been attached. Where the back attaches to the waistband or where the front to the triangle attaches. You'll get weird lumps and bumps. Which I don't think anyone wants a weird lump or bump.
So you've mentioned the different colors. Do I have to match the color to my skin tone or to my tights or both? Like, how do I choose the color?
So, for your dance belt colour, match it with your skin tone. That's the safest way to go about it. Then, as a costume, whatever colour your costume is.
So basically, if I'm wearing white tights, I avoid black colors, but nude will be fine. And if I'm wearing black tights, I guess any color is fine, right?
Pretty much.
The tricky one is the white color.
Yeah. If you've got white tights, a black dance belt is very distracting. It looks weird, especially with stage lights and all those other things. It looks very, very weird. Whereas if you had a skin tone, it just matches your skin, or even a white dance belt could work.
So it's always good to have like a different range, like a couple of different ones in your bag so that you always have what you need.
Yeah. As you can see, I've got a very light skin tone and then black. For me, that nude colour looks normal. For someone who's darker than me, it'll look a bit odd. But as I said, there are other shades to match different skin tones.
So I think we've covered pretty much everything about like what to choose, the different models, different cuts, and how to choose one that's comfortable. Now that we've picked it up, we go to the cashier. How much does it cost? And the usual question, is there such a thing like the cheaper one, they will fall apart faster, so I have to preferably buy an expensive one? Or it's like most of the goods out there, there's no such a thing, and some of the cheaper ones are actually good enough. So you should maybe just like ask around, what's the deal with the dance belt and the price?
That is a brilliant question. The cheaper ones to the more expensive ones, they don't fall apart any quicker. A lot of the dance brands take a lot of pride in making sure the quality is always high standard. Regarding price, some of the cheaper ones can be about £10 to £15. So that works out about 10 to 15 euros with the conversion. I think. Maths is not my strong suit. And then the more expensive ones can go to £30 to £40. Normally, the price difference reflects the style and cut.
The less fabric, the more expensive, or is that?
No.
You know, like the swimsuit, the smaller they are, the more expensive they get.
No, it's very much how much time it takes to create that in comparison to just shoving
something more
that.
simple, yeah.
Yeah. So that tends to reflect the price. Not really. Does it last longer? Doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter how much fabric you get.
So thank you, Isaac. I think we're quite clear on like the process of buying a dance belt, how to choose one, how much does it cost, and all of this. Now that we've booked one that seemed comfortable, here comes the issues that can happen and how to prepare for it. And I guess the most common question I get is, what do I do if I forget my dance belt for class or for performance? Can I use regular underwear to replace it? We already mentioned, like, can I use martial arts cups, or can I tuck instead?
I've never tried tucking, but ask a drag queen and see how it goes.
Well, what do you think? Do you think I'm not sure it will be that comfortable, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not a guy, but just don't think that tucking will be very comfortable. What do you think? Like, very honestly.
For tucking, I don't think that'll be a comfortable replacement to dance in.
Okay, so forget the duct tape.
No.
So
No.
now that tucking is out of the way for dancing, what can I do if I forget my dance belt and I have class? Then we get to performance. This is like the different issue. I just have class.
I would recommend doing everything you can to never forget it. As we said before, if something goes wrong, you are living the real life nutcracker. If you do, and you are trying to get a replacement, two options. You buy normal underwear that is a bit tighter, a bit smaller than you normally would to try and help keep everything in place because it's really tight. Or use an alternative jockstrap like a martial art one.
But I guess if you forgot your dance belt, you don't have all of this.
Yeah, if you've forgotten a dance belt, I doubt you would have a martial arts jockstrap. But you never know what shops are nearby. And if you have to, in like an emergency, you don't have a dance belt, you need something, you might be looking to buy a martial arts jockstrap or buy normal underwear that's a bit smaller, a bit tighter to help keep things in place.
So the first place you would go to is a sportswear shop. If there's no dancewear shop, then you go to a sportswear shop, and then you go to just normal underwear.
Yeah.
And then your last resort is you ask someone else to do the performance for you.
No. Last resort is doing a tuck, and you buy duct tape.
So the last resort is duct tape. I thought the last resort was to ask someone else to lend you theirs.
Depending how comfortable you feel, that might be your first option.
Yeah.
As long as you wash it before returning it.
And as long as they wash it before giving it to you.
I would hope they... I'm also hoping they would come to the theatre or to the class with clean underwear.
We are getting to that. Just bear with me, bear with me. I've received a very interesting question. I've never asked myself that myself. Why is that sometimes we can see what's underneath the dance belt? Why is that sometimes we can see the anatomy of the male dancer through the dance belt?
When it comes to seeing your manhood underneath your dance belt, either that can just be costume and lighting. If you're wearing white tights, shadows are more easily seen. Or your dance belt doesn't have enough padding. So 2 options is get another dance belt style or cut with more padding in the triangle section, or you wear 2 dance belts to create more padding.
Would you wear 2 dance belts? Is that comfortable?
It doesn't make much difference. And when you're wearing white tights and you can see your manhood, sometimes 2 dance belts is your only option.
Someone was asking, what do I do if my dance belt rips off during performance?
That's never happened to me. I don't think or remember ever hearing that ever happening. So if that does, someone has got some scissors and started cutting away at your dance belt.
So we shouldn't be worried about it. That should not happen.
No, don't start gluing a dance belt to you.
So I guess this is more of a question of like, don't be worried. We don't think this is something that can happen. However, if that happened to you, please comment in the comment section. We'd like to hear about it. And what did you do when that happened? The last issue that I was asked to talk about, you already mentioned it a little bit. Why is it that my dance belt irritates me sometimes? And what can I do to avoid that?
There are a few more reasons to why a dance belt can irritate you. So as we already said about it being a bit too small and causing friction. Other ones can be at the end of a long day and you're really sweaty, you can end up with a sweat rash. Not so great. And another reason is if you don't wash your dance belt and have the correct care when you clean your clothes. So when you have irritation at the end of a long day, you're really sweaty, bring 2 dance belts to work, to school, whatever you need, and the normal, regular hygiene, your personal hygiene, showering, making sure you are clean, washing your clothes is all important. And also when it comes to washing your clothes, making sure you're using the right detergent. Some detergent, it might not even be the dance belt, it could be what you use to wash your clothes in, could cause irritation. Or fabric conditioner, making sure your clothes are nice and soft as well.
So that's a lovely transition for my next question. How do you wash it? Do you wash it by hand? Do you wash it in a washing machine? Like, what's the deal?
I've always washed mine in a washing machine. I don't think any brand says hand washing. If they do, let me know, because I've not heard about that, and that would be useful to know. But no, simple washing machine, most of the instructions on that is on your label. So yeah, please, wash your dance belts.
So how often shall I change it? Like, meaning how often do I wear a clean one and how often do I get a new one?
You should be washing it after every wear.
But like, how often can I wear it? Like, so for example, like, is it like a one class I'm gonna change it? Can I wear the same one for the full day? What's the...
Oh, for that, if you are a really sweaty person, I would recommend changing it throughout the day. At least one change. As I said, when you're really sweater, you can get a sweat rash and that causes irritation. No one wants that. If you're not a sweaty person, you could probably go all day without needing to change your dance belt.
And how often do you get a new one?
Getting a new one.
Let me ask the question differently. What are the signs that it's too old and I need a new one?
Two very good signs. The waist elastic is no longer staying tight or, it starts degrading and going a bit blah. The other one is when the fabric starts breaking down as well. So the best way to describe that is either, when stitching falls apart, that's one sign, or from the triangle going round the backside, the fabric can start breaking and then it becomes like two strings going up your backside. Mm-hmm. Certain body parts can then fall through and get twisted and...
I like how you say certain body parts. Can I bleach it for it to match my skin color?
No. Don't bleach your dance belts. No bleaching. No bleach.
What
no
happens
bleach.
when I bleach it? Because I know you know someone who did it.
It breaks down the fabric and then you just end up with this massive hole in the middle of your dance belt because bleach breaks it apart. Do not bleach your underwear.
Now, can I use baby powder? On my skin, obviously.
Well, if it's to help out with irritation, yeah. That's actually a good point. Baby powder, if you do have irritation from like a sweat rash or any other type of irritation, baby powder is very good at helping out with that. That's actually a good add-on. Most nappy rash creams or ointments are also very good to help out with any type of rash or irritation from your dance belt.
Now, Isaac, is there any question that we have not covered on the basics of a dance belt?
Can you wear it as a hat?
No, you cannot. Come on.
Are you sure?
Well, can you show us?
Wait. What if I was doing like space buttons?
Okay, this actually looks good.
Oh, wait. What type of bug? Fly. Zzz.